Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We are back with another video. Now, welcome to another video on my channel. Now, here today, we shall be previewing the Giants versus the Washington football team match that will be taking place tomorrow at 8:20 at the Washington football team stadium. Now, in terms of these two teams, both of these teams currently right now are 0-1, which means they both lost on week 1. The Giants losing to the Denver Broncos by a score of 27-13. And the Washington football team losing to the LA Chargers by a score of 20-16. So both of these teams seem to be right around the same amount of points. The Giants scored 13, Washington football team scored 16. But that's still a loss on their record, and that's still a loss towards their goal of making the playoffs and maybe, possibly, not gonna happen, of making the Super Bowl in the SoFi Field next year. But what does this mean for the New York Giants and the Washington football team? Well, it means right now that the three teams that I thought were going to finish in the top three are the last three in the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles, the team that I thought was going to finish bottom on this division, is currently leading the right now after beating the Atlanta Falcons this past season. And when I mean beating the Atlanta Falcons, I mean they blew them out. That defense on the Atlanta Falcons was so terrible. It was terrible. And I'm speaking as a Falcons fan. That defense was terrible. But we're not talking about the Falcons. We're talking about Washington football team versus New York Giants. Now, in the last 5 meetings at the Washington football team stadium, the Giants are up by a score of 4-1 in total wins. The Giants have won 4 times to Washington football team's 1, which happened in 2017 when the Washington football team won 20-10. The other 4 times the Giants have won last season, which was 23-20. The season before that, they won in overtime by a score of 41-35. The season before that, they actually blew the Washington football team out by a score of 40-16. And then in 2016, the Giants won by a score of 19-10. But there's one thing you guys can see from all these scores that I'm reading out. Besides that one blowout in 2018, all the scores have been within or close to 10 points. That's going to be interesting to see. Because last year, the Giants beat the Washington football team when Washington really didn't have a good quarterback there. And now Taylor Heinicke is there, but Taylor Heinicke is kind of okay. But it's interesting to see now that Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be out. Taylor Heinicke is going to be getting his first full-time start this NFL season after he came in after Fitzpatrick got injured when the Washington football team was playing against the LA Chargers this past weekend. But this also does mean it's a good thing for the Giants, because the Giants last season, if you guys did not know this, the Giants did not have Saquon Barkley, a big part of their offense, for a majority of the season after he tore his ACL. But this does mean that he'll be back, and he'll be running against that the Washington defense that has guys like Matt Ioannidis, that has guys like Chase Young, who is a beast on that defense. But the Washington football team offense is no sleeper. Obviously, they got Taylor Heinicke, they got Taylor McLaurin, they got Curtis Samuel, who I think currently right now is on IR after being out with a foot injury. So this Washington football team offense is pretty good. And I mean, you take a look at the Giants offense. They're not bad either. They added Kadarius Toney in the draft. They added Kenny Golladay in free agency. They got Evan Ingram at tight end. They got Saquon Barkley at running back. And then they got Daniel Jones, who's kind of okay, but this really has to be the season where he has to prove himself. Or I think the Giants are going to be looking for a new quarterback next season, and Daniel Jones will most likely be shipped off, even though they drafted him, I think it was, number 6 in the 2018 draft? I think that's where he went to. So he's a top 10 draft pick, but he could end up being a top 10 draft bust if he doesn't perform this season. So what does that mean for this coming Thursday or tomorrow's score prediction for the Washington football team versus the New York Giants football game? Well, I think the Washington football team are going to get the better over the Giants and win by a score of 27-17, which will move the Washington football team to a 1-1 record, 1 win and 1 loss, and then move the Giants down to 0-2 and hurt the Giants' chance to really start really trying to make the playoffs and having a good start But Washington will get back on the winning column, and I think Washington are definitely going to be a serious contender along with the Giants, even though the Giants are going to be starting 0-2. You remember, still you have the Philadelphia Eagles in that division, so the Giants can definitely pull it back, and I think the Giants could definitely give Washington football team a good run for their money in the NFC East, or how everybody calls it, the NFC East. But in terms of the two quarterbacks for both teams, what do I think is going to happen in this game, and what do I think they're going to go for when it comes to this game? Well, Daniel Jones for the New York Giants, I think he's going to go for 20 for 36, 20 completions, 36 attempts. I think he's going to throw for 214 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Yes, I do think he's going to throw a pick 6, which is going to contribute to the Washington football team winning by a score of 27-17. I think the Washington football team is actually going to miss an extra point, which is the reason why they win 27-17. And then when it comes to their quarterback, I think Taylor Heinicke is going to have a very good game. I think he's going to go 22 for 34, 22 completions, 34 attempts. I think he's going to throw for 297 yards, which is a good amount of yards considering he's not like that very much good a quarterback, but he is still decent. I think he's going to throw 3 touchdowns because I do not believe this Giants defense is going to be good enough in that Giant, and literally I don't think the Giants defense is going to be good enough to stop him compared to the Washington defense, where they're going to have Chase Young and Matt Ioannidis against that Giants offensive line, where the offensive line for the Giants is also not very good considering the guys that they got there. And I think he's going to throw 0 interceptions, so which means Taylor Heinicke would definitely have a better game than Daniel Jones, and this would mean Washington football team gets back on the right path, getting a win on their column by a score of 27-17, beating the New York Giants and getting their first full win in 4 years at their home stadium. Yes, that is right. The Giants have won the last 3 times they played at Washington. Like I said, 23-20 last year, 41-35 in overtime the year before that, and then the year before that in 2018 they won by a score of 40-16. So this would be a good thing for Washington. This would be a good thing for the fans in Washington, and this would be a right way to start them back on track as they try and make the playoffs. And so do the Giants. Even though the Giants will start 0-2, the Giants will still have a good opportunity to make the playoffs. But in terms of this game, the Giants are going to definitely put up a good amount of scores. I think Saquon Barkley is going to be the best Giants player on this in this game, but I don't think that's going to be enough. I think this Washington football team defense is going to be too much for the New York Giants, and Taylor Heinicke is going to have a very good game. And like I said, he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns, and he's going to help this Washington football team beat the New York football Giants and continue their run to make the playoffs. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for watching the video. Please just smash the like button. If you guys would like to follow me on my social media will be down below. My Instagram will be down below. My Twitter will be down below. Make sure to follow those because I post a lot more sports content on my Instagram. So make sure you guys check that out. But anyway, guys, I will see you guys all later with another video. Peace.